Well, well, well. Look who it is, audience. It's you. Back again for King Arthur Pendragon 5.2, the Great Pendragon Campaign, Episode 9. This internet web page ain't big enough for the both of us, so I guess I'd better eliminate one of these players tonight by killing their characters.
That's
been
only
a
what
while.
You think will happen.
Statistical probability would indicate that you'll be annihilated tonight, but certainly stranger things have happened. I know a guy that rolled a 1 4 times in a row. Yeah. Anything to catch up on with y'all? Seeing as the answer's no, just a quick recap of the last episode. There was a duel challenge issued. It's probably the big one. We went to some Frankish lands. We captured some Saxon warriors. We killed some Saxon warriors. Sorry, Frankish warriors. Was the fight with the Harper last episode? I think it was.
The old guy.
The old man, yes, the mercenary.
Harper, yeah, right,
the man at arms, the one who isn't a knight, but
is in an antiquated armor and was a badass. Yes.
He was a badass. Damage. True. He's very old. We have continued the storyline of a certain squire who may or may not be working for a different county and or province and or Sir Blaine's. It's not clear. But we're back with Kendric de Pitton, Herawd of Laverton, and Gwgan of Shrewton. Alright, I wish I had queued up some, like, sexy jazz music and had a voice deepener for my voice thing so that I could be let's open those sexy spreadsheets. Right now, the salty maker is like getting his quill out, licking the end of it, getting his book out and be like, oh yeah, let's fill in these spreadsheets.
Oh man.
Let's talk about the year 488, my friends. According to my notes, solo scenarios, there are none. Experience rolls. I have to draw up this so that players can see, the audience can see. If you have a check mark next to a statistic or a skill, passion, trait, whatever you've got, now is the time to roll. If you roll higher or if it's already at a 20, if you roll a 20, increase that by 1. If you have a wife and you're tracking their stats because for some reason you're using your wife as a spy, check their skills as well. Actually, I think we do their skill improvements later, but just be cognizant of that. Has no one rolled yet?
I'll be rolling.
We've rolled.
What's going on here?
That was my threshold at 20 for that Valorous check.
Oh, does it only update? My bad, audience. I'm getting this bad. Okay.
What just happened?
So I think you have to roll higher, James, right? Than the
higher.
So you did not get a Valorous upgrade. How sad.
But I did get honor.
Oh, you did get honor. That's solid. It looks like someone got a Valorous. Kendric.
No. There was a well. So no, there was a mishap with the roll. There was a inputted. The value was inputted as 150 for some reason. So it does not go up.
Your valor is high, but it's not that. But you rolled a 20 on the roll.
No, I rolled a 4 plus 150.
Oh, I understand.
Plus 130. Thank you very much. Because
well, my awareness went up, but nothing else.
It's rough.
All my good rolls out during the winter phase.
I think the only thing I have left is sword, which does not go up.
Must age now, and also age your squire.
That makes us 25. Yes.
Not me.
Yes.
Not the kid here,
but yes.
At 25, I believe you're no longer considered a young adult. Now you have to stop reading Divergent. And now you have to read War and Peace. Those are the only two options in the land. Look, William Shakespeare hasn't been invented yet, so... Tice is saying...
Nor is Tolstoy or Stephanie Meyer.
Why are we going... Well, listen. In a land where we're mentioning great literary works, why did we go to Stephanie Meyer?
Isn't she the one who wrote Divergent? Who wrote Divergent?
No, she's the one who wrote Twilight.
Oh, Twilight. Sorry, okay, my bad. Okay, sorry. Well, Tolstoy
I
wrote
can
War and
understand
Peace.
how you could get that confused.
Yeah.
War and Peace is absolutely wild. I don't know that I can get through it.
There are
It's
other
too
actually
many.
good Tolstoy books too.
It's too many characters. Once you pass 300, it's hard to remember. Did anyone Squire reach the age of 21?
No, they should all be
They're
19.
Very well. No one has reached the ripe old age of 35, so you don't start aging yet. Wow, that for some reason that phrase really hurt me right now.
Yeah. That's like three Skaven ages.
Yeah, I feel like I took collateral damage for no apparent reason. All right, here comes the part that I forget every single time, despite the fact that I use it not only in this game, but also in Endosteel. There are no bad weather conditions. There's no stewardship. I am rolling bad weather right now.
Yeah, so it's a 2d20 roll. So you roll once for the weather, and then once for the weather's actual roll.
Very
And
well.
so I think you roll the weather once. So that's the weather for everybody, and then you make the roll against each person.
All right, the weather is an 18.
Oh, not good.
That's very high. And then you want me to make a roll against each person?
Against each person, yeah.
Very well. I'm going to go around the clock here, so it'll be Gwgan, Herawd, and Kendric. Critical fail. Success.
Yeah.
All right. Each of you will now make your stewardship rolls.
Yes.
Is this going to work? It did work. Good.
Oh, did I get to increase my wife's stewardship before this?
That's later.
Okay.
That's towards the end. So she has the stewardship she has now.
So I failed versus a crit fail.
Okay, so you got crit fail, so fumble
Oh,
and fail.
Oh,
Okay, Herawd, what do you have?
it's a
she succeeded,
And then Spoon.
and a
I also
success.
succeeded, and I beat the weather.
Success. Okay,
I
and then
don't know if winning matters.
no, the better you do, the worse it is on weather. You want to fumble on weather.
No, well, we want the weather to
Weather to fumble.
Yes.
Yeah.
So James, with his fumble, will be in a better position. All right. So
Yes.
Yeah, so the weather fumbled, but I failed in my stewardship
Yes.
roll there. So
I'm assembling the chart. Don't worry.
Cool.
I'm just trying to remember how to spell Kendric, whether it has a C in it or not.
It's only a C.
And it was really stumbling me here. I've spent about 30 seconds looking at the spreadsheet going, but does it have a C or not? My brain was successfully unhooked. Sorry, you got
it's only a C. The letter C is how you spell Kendric. That's it.
and Kendric got a success as well.
Yeah,
So
he's a very early rapper.
I'm just gonna let that one sail right by me. All right. So fumble, fail. You live as a rich knight, James. I assume you're going to bump that up to at least superlative.
Yes.
Herawd, success. You live as a normal knight, and Kendric the same. I assume both of you will be bumping that up to rich or superlative.
How much?
I think
What are the?
It's three libra per extra step.
Yeah. So I
3
will
to
be
go to
bumping,
rich, and then 6 to go to superlative.
Yeah, I'll be bumping it up to superlative.
I will also.
How superlative of you. You maintain your clothing, but the fancy clothing that you got from the Earl, I believe you got that last season, it
Yes.
has now degraded. So whatever bonus it had is now minus by 1.
So we just basically no longer get the +1 app.
Yeah, it's no longer filled with Riz. A fit check is harder for you. I just remembered that James didn't know what a fit check was last episode.
It's like, what? They're tailored,
Because
of course they fit.
I was writing today like an alternate universe version where Blaine's shows up with a puffer coat that says "by all means necessary." I'm sorry, by any means necessary. I was like, he rolled a critical fit check. We don't live in that universe, however, no matter how good it would be. Stable rolls. I don't think anyone has a unique horse except for the Glimo.
Yep.
And with superlativeness, I think you can't fail this. Yes, your horse survival gets a +2, so you can't fail this.
Yeah, not until the horse is over 7 years old, basically.
It'll
Okay.
be a little while.
Yeah.
Family rules. You're all already married, according to my brain, but I just want to check and make sure that's true.
Yes, although I know nothing about my wife.
Yes. I think I may have supposed to have written a character bio for her, and you know what? For someone who slams other people for not doing their homework, I'm about to eat crow, and, quite badly.
Look. Gwgan always talks to his wife when she's off camera. Like she's always just
she's
like,
just over.
I love the idea that she has Charlie Brown voice.
Yeah, we just- And we can guess. Yes, of course, dear.
Did anyone want to keep any women who are not their wives? I see. I didn't know if you just want to have a shit ton of bastards. Pull the Lachlan McDougal's dad. Children. Is anyone interested in having children?
yes.
If
Yes.
so, it's time to roll childbirth. You are all superlatives, so childbirth gets a +5. Which isn't always good. Let's see here. I see a 14 is
14
childborn.
is childborn.
Jeez, James, what are you doing out here?
And Kendric.
Me too,
And
My
Kendric.
God.
Yeah.
All right. You
What
guys want to
happened?
have kids? You all have a kid. Roll a d6.
The seed is strong.
Odd number is female. Even number is the male.
I think Gwgan has a boy.
Who runs the world? Girls.
Girls.
Yeah. You don't have to have a name yet. But you do need to mark down the year that the child's born and their age. And now you roll child survival for all the kids, including the newly born kid. As superlative knights, you get a +3 to this, which means your
Which means you
children are
can't fail.
incapable of dying.
But they can still be sick.
Oh, they can be sick as hell, dude.
My kid's name is Head.
H-E-D?
Hedd.
Ooh. That's so fancy. Twins, you have to hit a 13. 20 is just childborn. 14 plus is childborn. Once you've completed that, please roll another d20 and let me know the result of it.
I'll have a 13, please.
I'll also have a 13, please.
Both of you will have a family member who's missing or lost. Please select one family
Oh,
member.
Jesus.
Yeah, what'd you get?
I keep getting the horrible one. Oh wait, no, 18 is no event.
18 is no event. Yeah, calm down. Don't worry.
I thought I had scandalous rumor.
Believe in yourself. Scandalous rumor isn't that bad. The time when it's bad is roll again and it's true. That's when it's bad. No
So
one wants to
I have
find out that their
two
mother
ill
is a horse
kids.
thief.
So that means I need to make a second roll for each one of them.
Sorry, for what?
Child survival, I get 2. I've got 2 and the child is ill. But wait a minute, it's +2 on it, or is it
That's a +3.
+3?
You can't fail. Child
So
is
that's
ill.
still-
Nothing happens. It's just
Okay.
child is ill. You know?
Okay.
The kid was sick this year.
Okay.
If they get sick a lot, you can later on just be like, I was very sickly as a child, in order to come off as very sarcastic. Who are our selected missing people?
I'm just updating my family stuff so I can work out who it's gonna
Family?
be.
Just remember, nothing matters more than family.
I think
Thanks for
my missing person is going to be my aunt, Blodwin.
We've never heard of her before, so we don't miss her. But we've heard a lot of James's family, so
Just putting in his son. All right. So you know what? I think I might, because Gwgan's father is still alive. I think we might take him out of the equation. He's not actually the because his relationship to Owain was via his mother. So, but yeah, we'll take his father out. I think father disappears.
but the way you said that, we'll take him out, makes me imagine you and your cousins just like taking him out behind the bar and just being like, we can't afford.
It's not my family.
I'm worried your family's going to take you behind the bar. Not the old man. All right.
Well, Lycus is dead, so I think I'm feeling pretty good about life.
Lycus. What a name. Just like that guy, Lycus Santoro. Let's talk about training. You get 3 options here. If you're following along at home from your King Arthur Pendragon 5.2, this is on
glory first, because I'm going to be like right on the edge.
I'm sorry, but
Glory's
training
lost.
and practice happens first. Glimo's really like, can I raise my wife's skills? Can I raise my skills first? No. Training and practice. You have to do it in order, Glimo.
Okay.
Without the order, society breaks down.
Oh, wow. Okay. Calm down, communications technician from The Mandalorian.
You're gonna, yeah.
Yeah. 3
Options.
options are gain 1d6 plus 1 in skills to a maximum of 15, or gain 1 point in a skill, maximum of 20, or improve an attribute, trait, or passion by 1. No trait can be increased over 19 and no passion increased over 20. No attribute can be raised higher than its maximum cultural value.
I am going to increase con.
I increased my dex by 1.
Ooh.
Excellent question. Thinking about taking a trait, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. It's a good one to bump up.
I think I'm going to take 1 temperate. Thank you, Arthur.
Why are you thanking me for that one?
Because it's polite.
Very well, I'll buy that. Take 1 in politeness as well. You know what, James? For real? Take a check mark in courtesy for next year.
Wow.
Now we are computing glory. So hold your horses. Some of you may want to start doing traits and passions. You're not ready for that yet. Gwgan.
Yes.
2 Saxon warriors. Sorry, 2 Frankish warriors. Oh my god, why do I keep saying Saxon? 2 Frankish warriors. 20 points of glory. Herawd. 1 Frankish warrior captured. 10 points of glory. Kendric. 1 Frankish chieftain captured. 1 Saxon... How am I getting Saxons and Franks? It's
because you hate Saxons as much as our characters do. That's why.
30 points of glory this year, Kendric. Before we go to the next part of glory, Herawd, you have an option to ransom back your captee for $1.
I will take the dollar.
Kendric, you have the option to ransom back your Frank for $12.
I will take the $12.
5 glory for surviving an encounter with the Harper to Gwgan. 25 glory to all characters who were on the Frankish expedition. And an additional 50 glory to be among the first assault to cross the breached wall. Once you have caught up on all of that, you can begin glory for consuming conspicuously or inconspicuously. Famous traits, passions, unique honors, annual glories, which I don't think any of you have yet. And then, if you exceed a multiple of 1,000, you may take the glory bonus.
I exceed 2,000 this time. I'm at
do I.
2031.
Nice. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. I am going to
second
increase
favorite
my
year.
size.
Not a boy.
Okay, Mario.
Get big. Get big.
And now my stats are back to where they were before I fucked it all up.
You know what they say, get Kendric or go home.
That's right. Let's see. What else did I spend this year?
And did someone have the chivalrous bonus?
I have the chivalrous bonus shit, which I'm
Sir
sure
Gwgan does.
Gwgan and his absolute bullshit. I mean, I can hardly blame him for gaming the system. And chivalry is the only one that's in play right now because the romantic bonus and the religious bonus, or maybe religion is applied now.
Religion bonus.
Yeah, the
Religious
romantic
applies,
bonus
it
is
just-
the one that's not applied yet.
Yeah.
Also, I think there's a bonus for being a Moor.
I mean, other than the fact that you're a Moor will be a trait which gives you bonus passion through your fame trait.
Sure. For me, every time I hear a Moor, I'm like, a Moor? Eh. For the folks at home that didn't get it, that's the name of my cat. Now is also the time to increase the skills of your wives.
I wish I had a wife with stats.
Just
Right,
assume
so-
she's your standard issue noblewoman.
Walk me through this how this works again.
Oh well, this is a James thing. This is super
Yeah.
advanced stuff that's outside my book.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I did put it into the Pendragon chat a while ago.
Okay.
Did I pin it?
I will go look for it then.
Okay, so it says ladies start with each skill automatically goes up until they hit 15, and then only increase on a D6 roll of 6 after 15. And when they hit 20, only on a D20 roll of 20. But their three primary skills improve every year they age until they hit 15.
Okay.
And then it's D6.
6 on a D6 to go up after that.
Nope.
That's right, they laughter. You did get here just in time to catch the tail end of the spreadsheet action, the climax of this particular episode. Oh,
I just realized I never gave Harfin love of family. That's just 3d6?
Yeah.
13.
Oh, she loves her family. It's like a Disney song.
Oh, nice. That's 2 increases if they're at 15.
No, that was her love of family roll.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So she has a 13 love of family.
I don't even know how old my wife is to generate her stats.
Let's assume that she's 21.
Okay.
How about that, James?
Thank you.
Do you have a random Kendric woman's name generator? Let's go ahead and get
He
a name
does.
on the board.
Okay, so let's put her stats in now. So she is.
It's incredible the amount of effort I put into preparing this duel and rewatching the last 20 minutes of the episode as well, and completely forgetting about the wife.
If
I have
only you'd watched
become
the last
disregard
20.
wives, prepare for duels. I'm a meme of a guy just
So what's the female named out of?
284.
34, thank you. $78. Her name is Kunawa. Cunneware.
You know, my favorite part is that by playing as her, I don't have to pronounce her name. Other people have to say it to me. This is the real power of the game master. I'm focusing myself for the duel that's going to be happening in the next few minutes, guys. I gotta, like, Saiyan Vegeta prepare my mind. Spoon's gonna be coming at me with everything he's got. Apparently he's bringing a giant mace or something.
Yeah.
Very normal weapon to bring to a sword duel, of course.
I
mean, he is the hammer.
I don't know if you knew this, but a mace is not a hammer. A hammer is a hammer. Is there anything else we need to do in this glorious year of our Lord 488?
Oh, I forgot to give myself the extra Libra from my manor.
Very well.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta do that too.
So my new glory total is 2031. I think I'm still in third place.
I am I'm 2098 now.
Yeah, I figured you pulled ahead of me with your...
And I am still at 2730. Or I am now at 2730, I guess. But that is that's it for me.
I agree. This will be it for you, Kendric. Let's get around to that. It is a chilly spring day that we find ourselves on the road outside of Duplain, just across the river. Sir Blaine's has arrived with a small but important looking procession. His squire, of course, several attendants and knights, they set up a tent and a small fire to warm themselves up. Blaine's is wearing his long chainmail. He's undone the chainmail face cover for his mouth as he goes through some pretty brutal looking warm-up steps. His breath puffing in this wonderful British springtime weather. You know, I made fun of British weather all last episode, and I forgot to check how cold British springs are. That was a mistake. I mean, my understanding is because of the jet stream, British weather is pretty much the same temperature year round. But now that Britain's on fire half the time, what do I know?
No, I've been there in March. It's pretty chilly.
Pretty chilly. Okay. Kendric, these are your lands. You're fighting locally.
So apparently the average temperature in spring in Britain is 51 degrees Fahrenheit, 11 degrees Celsius.
I was like, 51 Celsius? That's crazy. I knew Britain was on fire, but I didn't know it was that bad. Yeah, Kendric, what are you looking at? What are you feeling as you're preparing for what could be the end of your life? The end of someone's life, at the very least.
So I think we have a flashback scene to like a couple hours ago at Duplain Castle.
You think you can just first up? Castle is a very strong word.
Not my holding. We are outside of Duplain Castle.
Okay,
like that is the castle that governs this road.
Very well.
In between Camelot and Salisbury. And he has brought his wife and children to stay here while he goes to fight this duel. And so he's talking to his wife, Lady Gwiona. And he says, if everything goes well, I will return to you later this afternoon.
She looks, I want to say furtively at you with a wild look in her eyes as she like grabs the front of your clothing and says, "This isn't a war, right?"
No, this is not a war.
Okay. She does a dramatic 3/4 turn, the kind you only see at stage theater, and then walks away from you to go look distantly out a window.
And I think at that point, Kendric will kneel down and his son, Tathan, will run over. He's a 3-year-old, so he's probably just started walking. And he pats him on the head and says, "Be good now, son. Listen to your mother. I'll be back soon."
Okay, he throws up on you. I don't know a lot about kids, but I assume that at all times they're either throwing up, pooping, or peeing on everything.
Yeah. Not at 3 years old.
Not at 3 years old? Okay, my mistake. Again, I don't know enough about kids. I avoid them.
He gives him a kiss on the top of the head and then stands and tells his wife he loves her and walks out.
As you're walking away, your wife dramatically says out the window, having waited like a full 20 seconds to respond, she shouts, "I love you!" And then like her scarf is caught in the breeze going through the spring windows open in the home as it gently wafts out, and you look out as it like a floating dragon flies past you. And then we cut back to the present.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you look like now on this, a field of honor?
So Kendric is wearing his chainmail. He has, so like in... It
says by any means necessary.
By any means necessary. I feel like, there's like a area that's like, not necessarily cordoned off, but it's like, hey, this is obviously the area we're going to fight in.
Everyone's formed a circle, actually.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we're equals, but...
You're not equals. Blades is definitely higher ranking than you.
But he has like leaned up against a weapons rack. He has a 2-handed mace and a sword. And as he looks over at Blaine's, he says, "Sir Blaine's, honor
Kendric
compels me to offer you clemency, and you have requested a duel to the death. However, this duel is over a book that we have deciphered, and that information will go beyond what happens here today. You cannot stop that. You cannot stop its escape. But if you kill me here today, Salisbury only suffers a small loss. I am a knight of Pitton, but I have cousins that will take over for me. However, if I kill you, all of your schemes, all of your machinations, everything stops. The steward of Levcomagus will be no more. So you have to ask yourself, is taking my life worth risking yours?
Oh, Spoon, his machinations have laid undetected for years. He's a master of deception.
I mean, to Kendric he is.
This is that's not saying very much. I think this is a roll. I just wonder if it's courtesy or orate. I think it may be courtesy. I say that knowing that your courtesy is much higher than your orate. You're
true.
not really giving a speech.
No.
You're offering him an out.
Yeah. And I mean, to be clear, like, this out is to, like, take the duel down to the next step.
Yes.
So, like, go to first blood.
First blood. Yeah, I understand. Very courteous of you.
Yeah.
He
That's
looks
a
at
success.
you and he sees that you have a hand on a two-handed mace, right?
Mhm.
And he says, how should I receive these words as you pick up a weapon that is clearly intended to not draw blood, but to injure, disfigure, and disable me permanently?
And then, so Kendric doesn't say anything. He just slides his hand down the weapon rack to his sword.
I accept your terms, then. The first blood.
And he will take up the sword.
It would be unfortunate if you were to die on the first stroke. I hope that you can weather my arm, Sir Kendric.
Well,
Hope for
I've
it
weathered the
indeed.
giants, so. And he does
All
up
right,
his chainmail mask.
Listen, there is a understanding on this field of honor that you're about to just get fucking wrecked. Even when the news comes out it's the first blood, right? It's still like, well, this guy's a better knight for sure. But when you say, I've weathered a giant, and people recognize that that is true, and that this is no false boast, suddenly the odds maker nearby is like, I wonder if I just fucked up really badly.
Probably not.
I forgot about
Probably
that shit.
but, yeah.
Okay. Any passions you'd like to call upon before we get started here?
Yes, I would like to call upon my loyalty Order of the Axe passion.
Very well.
Of course.
No.
No, it's not
It's a
bad.
13,
it's under
so,
15, so it just drops by one. And then I'll be melancholic after the duel, provided unconscious.
Oh, Glimo has. James has provided a very nice chart of how children develop on Discord, but the only thing I saw at first was a broken bone and a bottle of poison, and I was like, what the fuck is this chart? Why is he sending me a bottle of poison and a broken child development? Okay, all right. Let me just
I think I fumbled this loyalty Order of the Axe passion
both times, yes.
Yeah, literally almost every time I've rolled it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, melancholy. We'll do that afterwards. You lose a point of passion.
And wasn't the passion originally your suggestion?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Not higher than
Well,
a
you're
16.
coming down to my level.
No!
Uh-oh.
Actually, I'm just fucking lost that as well. Okay, so I'm in a really bad place.
We're like, actually, we really don't want to be here.
Was his
Yeah,
an
his
exalted
was
passion?
hatred Salisbury, so he's got madness now.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Hold on. Let me double check what this is going to mean for him. I would hate for him to run away from this duel. Also, beating your ass would be very funny as well. Just being complete. I love the idea that he's like, okay, we'll do it to first blood, and then he just starts foaming at the mouth and just like jumps on you and won't let go. That may be what happens here. I cannot believe.
I think he still goes through with the action, but with a penalty. Like then after it's
so
done,
much worse. That's actually worse for me. Madden. Okay, a character can be driven mad. What's been since then? Madden character. Okay, normally they run away, so there's no penalty. He's just gone insane.
Well,
yeah, he's just maddened.
yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, the good news is he hates
6 plus 5 days.
And he hates Salisbury a little bit less now as well. He's mellowing out.
Or is it a famous or exalted?
It's a 16.
Famous.
Okay.
So
famous.
whatever that would
Not
be.
anymore. It's not.
It's famous.
Yeah, so that's
it was a 16. Now it's not. Okay, so he still has his regular sword skill, but I think you notice, Kendric, you're like squaring up. You were doing this for Herawd, and you just can't summon the emotional strength staring at a dude who has basically threatened to beat your ass and murder you over this. You relax for a moment. You're like, it's fine. I don't need to get worked up about this. Your opponent gets very worked up about this.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately comes running at you. Ah! Ah! He's acting like a Saxon berserker. So let's roll. He's rolling sword. Okay. I forgot to add the +2, but that's a 10. That's a success.
I have a 14.
You get the full armor rating plus shield, so that will be that's like a 16 in this era, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
10 plus
plus
shield.
6
Yep,
from
so
your,
16.
Yeah.
All right. You're a big guy. This might actually hurt me.
Yeah.
What are you, 5d6, 66?
66.
That hurts a lot. 24 minus 16 is 8. That is not major wound. You've dealt more than knockdown. So I need to check for that. Battle may be over very quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
it is over. You've just drawn blood.
I've just drawn blood.
Roll. Hello. Okay, he stands on his feet. The duel for everyone else is over, but Sir Blaine's is maddened, incensed, enraged. He has lost himself in this. He rips open the chainmail part of his helm. He removes the top padding. He starts stripping his armor off. He literally just goes full naked, throws his sword into the ground so it wobbles for a bit, point down, and then just walks into the river at waist height and just starts marching down the river. You think he's speaking the language of the fairies. He just, just starts fucking marching. It's only like 51 degrees out. And he's, waist deep in a river, marching away, leaving all of his worldly possessions behind, just thoroughly enraged. Completely mad. Everyone is extremely confused as to what just happened. But this kind of thing happens to knights occasionally, so.
Oh, man.
Herawd is first on the field to congratulate Kendric.
Oh.
Well,
okay.
Congratulations, Herawd. The great news is that you have won your Battle of Honor, so your honor is restored. You gain 1 point of honor back, and you get the glory that Kendric would have gotten for winning this fight. Because it's your duel. Kendric, you're also going to get the honor as well. You guys are going to split the bonus, but
Sure.
yeah.
However, I am melancholic now. So if you come over to congratulate me, you have to snap me out of it. So,
I imagine that you're in a Scrubs like moment right now where Kendric is just like looking.
Yeah, I'm like just kind of I'm looking in the direction that Sir Blaines has like walked off in, but I'm just kind of like staring off into the middle distance a little bit.
If this is a Scrubsman, I want to know what his internal monologue is.
So it's you know, like that first scene where JD tries to give Turk a hug and you know Turk just flips him over, you know, JD, you know, so you know, Herawd is like super excited and comes over, is like, oh my god, Kendric, that was amazing, and you drove him mad on top of it, and you know, comes in with the bear hug. And
we attempt an opposed resolution between the passion that brought on the melancholic state and your
you can use
chosen
any passion
trait.
or trait which you think might penetrate his feelings, even if you're provoking or angering him. I mean, it sounds like you're being very jovial and friendly.
Yep.
I feel like generous, forgiving, energetic. Your passion for the Order of the Axe.
Mm-hmm.
If only you actually had an Order of the Axe that I could have show up on Endosteel now.
there are Order of the Axe heads.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Loyalty of the Axe. I feel like that's the most.
Okay, so well, luckily mine's 1 point lower now. So,
well, I fail,
and I succeed. So I turn around and attack you.
You fly into a rage and attack the healer. Great.
Yep.
So just to be clear, Kendric is in full battle armor and Herawd is in regular clothes with no weapon.
Yep.
All right, Kendric.
I think the wrong character's gonna die.
Yeah.
I love the idea that Herawd's honor goes up and then he's immediately brutally murdered by his best friend.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. What happens here? So
you could survive a 24-point hit with only 1 point of armor, right?
Okay, so let's see.
Yes, I can. Just barely.
So you can roll Dex as avoidance to try and dodge. Oh, you critically get out of the way. Amazing.
Oh my god, I love the idea of this scene. Is just like Kendric, and then just like out of nowhere, wide swipe, but Herawd just like he's been hanging out with Andre
Exactly.
the Younger. He tumbles backwards into like a handstand and bounces out of the way, and the sword just like swipes a few pieces of Herawd's hair off. Other people near. Okay, again, this is not unusual. People have seen this out of knights before. They're used to Blaine's taking. I mean, not Blaine specifically, but knights ripping all their armor off, just wandering off. They're also used to knights suddenly going insane and starting to do battle. And people are like running at you right now, Kendric, just like shouting at you, trying to get in between you and your target to like trap your sword arm. I think it's going to be another round before that happens, though, so I'm going to need another round of combat.
All right.
Oh,
Glimo, no.
Oh, no, Glimo.
Glimo, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You could survive 24 damage, but could you survive 48?
No.
Oh, no. Well, it doesn't matter. You don't have a shield to defend with anyway.
Uh-oh.
This is a real James's first roll of Cyberpunk shoots himself in the head moment.
Yeah. Okay, so that's oh god, Cleveland. I don't even want to type
All
this
you gotta
damage
do,
roll.
all you gotta do is roll like it's Blood Bowl, buddy.
Yeah.
Roll like it's one of my matches, not Dunamis. Oh no.
I'm dead.
That seems really high.
I'm dead.
Incredible. During a duel for your honor, you are slain by your own champion.
I have 29 hit points, and if I don't have armor,
You don't.
Well, I mean,
No, you were my second.
Right.
You would 100% have your armor on.
All right, I'll buy that. Will the armor save you? You don't get the shield. Can you survive 27 points of damage?
I can. That will be a major wound.
Okay.
I will have 2 hit points.
Yikes. So you're definitely unconscious for sure.
Oh my god.
I have to check the treasury needed
Yes.
box,
And you have to roll for stat loss from the major
and I have to
wound.
roll for stat loss.
That's the aging
So much
table,
for the
right?
stats that I just.
No,
I
it's
just
a single
gave
stat,
back.
so you don't roll the agent, you just roll the
Oh,
1d6
so
on the
1d6.
what's that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go.
$10
If you roll a
is
6,
size.
something goes down.
Again?
No,
What'd you
No,
get?
it's not.
3.
Strength. So my strength goes down by 1.
I think what we see is Kendric plunging his sword into the area above the heart, above the lung, like just below the shoulder, through a very narrow part. Blood is pouring down the front and back of Herawd. Kendric has like fallen on you and pinned you to the ground. As you slowly go unconscious, all you see are beyond like the front part of his face, just like eyes of rage as you pass out. And then people barrel into
Pull me off
Kendrick
of him.
and
Yeah,
separate you.
I'm in that, yeah, definitely in the
This will be remarked upon at several parties this year.
I'm sure. Yeah, Kendrick comes to his senses and goes, what have I done? Herawd.
yelling for a medic.
Medic!
Oh, if only Herawd was awake.
All right, I'm gonna roll for a chirurgeon.
May I step in here?
Yes, you could go first.
And I'll say we need to get him to my wife. She's a surgeon.
I'll buy that.
One of the skills I chose for her was true.
Sure, I'll buy that.
My wife also has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, if you want to roll for
wives
your
have a minimum
wife,
of 10.
yeah, roll for your wife, Herawd. See if she can save your fucking life.
So she's got an 11.
Listen, you can't just flaunt your wife and then not roll. all right?
Can I have her?
You can have her roll for her passion, love of family.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to decide on.
Just like you're just flipping a coin before you flip a coin, but all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, listen, as someone who just nearly murdered you because of a passion, like,
Well, if she fails the passion, I gotta.
She's only got like a 13, right? So it won't be
She's
bad.
got a 13.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Go
if she
ahead.
fails a regular passion,
Yeah. Nothing happens then.
nothing happens.
No, unless she fumbles.
Okay.
So that
So
couldn't
I'm going to have her impassion with love of family.
Okay.
Is it not coming up, or did I hit the wrong button?
It has not rolled yet for me.
All right, I'm going to try rolling again.
Sometimes Roll20 does throw a shoe and just
Still
Yeah,
not
it might also
seeing-
bring up the modifier box behind
Yeah, the
whatever it
modifier
is you're
box
looking
came
at.
up, and I hit submit on the 0.
All right.
I thought
Just
maybe
we're
the
gonna
first
get-
time I hit cancel.
We'll
instead
get a
of
bunch of
submit.
surgery rolls in about 5 minutes' time.
Yeah.
I'm going to close Roll20 and come back.
While we're waiting on this, I know AP that Blaine's sword was described as unusual before.
Mhm.
Is there anything like since it's
It's
sitting
an
here
old
in the dirt?
Roman spatha.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit shorter, kind of blunter, but wider. it's supposed to be used with the Roman shield in order to stab people in a shield wall.
Gotcha.
But,
Okay.
it's that keen Roman engineering. It looks like it's just a little bit better than everything made by the British.
Sure.
I still can't roll.
Still can't. Can you manually roll?
Just do a manual. Just do a slash roll. 1d20.
Yeah.
11. So
Okay.
that she succeeds.
You have a +5?
So +5 on surgery.
Very well. I think Herawd is still going to be out of action for most of this year.
Yeah, I think so.
A chirurgery of a successful chirurgery gives back what, 5 points?
D3 points.
D3 points.
Yeah, and you don't untick chirurgery until the wound that you've received is below the minute the what do you call it, the major wound threshold.
Okay, and then I get.
And then you get your healing rate every week.
Every Sunday.
Every week.
Yeah, every Sunday.
Yeah. So while you're still, they can do surgery rolls each week as well, until you no longer require surgery. But you'll still be every week's before you're back again.
So if I got 5 points a week, it would be 5 weeks. So it'd be a month before I'd be fully back.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable.
So I'm not out the whole year, but I'm out for a little while, a month.
You probably will not be attending the Pentecostal feast.
Probably not.
This guy is gonna.
I might be like walking with a cane at Pentecostal feast, but if we do the local one,
I was gonna say this guy's gonna miss the Easter bunny hunt right here, looking for the eggs. Just one day too late. If we do
Pentecostal feast at Roderick's, then I could probably.
As long as you're conscious, you can still take limited action without. Like the thing is you just can't be like running around or fighting. Otherwise, you run the risk of wound degradation.
Well, the good news is court is not held locally, but you won't need to be running around or fighting for a while. So it seems that you may, in fact, see some action if you want to risk that instead of staying at home. Kendric, people are pulling you off of Herawd and taking you, like, they're just like, walk it off, bud. Okay, walk it off. All right? Someone takes you to go beat up your squire. They're just like, look, if you got extra energy, just punch this guy. All right? Your squire's like, he's got the training pads up, Rocky style. Don't worry. I've got this, Kendric. It's just Ellison holding big leather, like it's just cow leather with like goose feather inside. Yeah. They're like somebody's good cushions.
Right.
It's got to work it off. Gwgan, what's going on with your mind right now as like Herawd has survived a nearly lethal wound? There's blood everywhere. In the distance, Blaine's is still just walking south away from his own territory down a river.
Yeah, look, I think that Gwgan was concerned about Blaine's until what happened between Herawd and Kendric. So and then that's it. Like Blaine's is forgotten. It's like, okay, we're dealing with this now. So look, I mean, certainly within the group that tried to help pull Kendric off, was certainly the group that tried to help get Herawd to his wife. But once again, I think that this sort of stuff sucks, but it's part of the passion of being a knight. So I think that other than that, the majority of my action includes thoughts and prayers for Herawd. So
Thoughts and prayers. Oh, this is a system where thoughts and prayers actually work, though. So, well, I suppose I probably I'm gonna take a few shots for saying that. Yeah, I think that the final part of the scene is just following Blaine's. It's helicopter cam, right? It's leaving all of you, and then the drone is floating alongside Blaine's, and the subtitles on the screen show that Blaine's is saying, "We're gonna walk down to Electric Avenue." He's doing the whole song, but in French. And that, I think, is we're slightly past 1 hour. Okay, we got to get these Twitch ads so that
I would have thought you'd go with the proclaimers on that one.
I mean, come on, man. I was reaching for something for a comedy out of nowhere. All right, we will be back for the second part now because we're a little bit past time and people are probably getting hit by ads. We will return shortly.
I would have gone.
Yeah, Spoon, tell us on camera what your plan to do with Blaine's was.
So if he refused my offer to step down to First Blood, I was essentially the plan, like the mechanical plan, was I was going to like all out attack, do the all out attack, let him get a free hit in on me.
Yeah.
Hope it didn't knock me down, and then roll at a plus 10, and hopefully hit or crit him with a two-handed mace for 8 or 16 d6 of damage.
That is a plan. However, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine a universe where he had a 27 sword skill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well,
that's a
much
much higher chance to get critted on than most people would be comfortable having.
Yeah. That's fucking wild. A 27.
I mean, it's
Holy
22 to
shit.
start with, and with a +5.
Yeah. To be
A very
I guess
probable
impassioned,
+5 on a 16.
Yeah.
On a 16.
A 22 is not as, but yeah, with the impassioned. And does his sword give him a bonus?
No. It's not magical or anything. It's an heirloom
but there's
sword.
I know there's like an heirloom sword that you can get that gives you a bonus to your sword skill.
It's just a nice sword.
Okay.
Someone's collected that sword. You don't get to keep it, by the way. Like, he has people.
No.
Okay.
I assumed his, like, the people he brought would come get his shit. Like,
yes, that's what's happening. Okay, so is there anything anyone wants to do before we move forward with said Pentecostal feast?
How many weeks after the duel is the Pentecostal feast?
I guess we'd have to know how long the distance is between spring and Easter.
Well, it depends on...
Right, is Easter the Pentecostal feast?
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't know
exactly,
enough about
yes.
Christianity for
Yeah,
this
I'm pretty
one.
sure.
Yeah, so it's anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think you'd be recovered then.
Easter's
barely.
the first Sunday after the first full moon after the equinox.
Now, this is not... Is this you have full hit points back, or this is just you can walk again?
I'd be able to walk again
Okay.
in 2 weeks.
All right. So you're back up to some amount of hit points.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So,
yeah, you can attend.
If it's 3 weeks out, then I'm mostly better. If it's 5 weeks out, then I'm all better. And if you want to roll randomly to see how many weeks
I'm
it
good
is.
to say you're fully recovered.
Okay.
It is a rough ride up to Cirencester.
Cirencester?
Cirencester. There's no H there here, but I will assume that you're right. Ever since I played Fire Emblem, and they're like, it's the Leicester Alliance, and I'm like, that's how you pronounce Leicester? Man, British people have weird words.
Aren't C's K's though? So isn't it Cirencester?
Oh, just please stop making it worse, Spoon. I'm just going to assume the guy who is from a Commonwealth country is saying it correctly, and YouTube comments can eviscerate him instead of me. That hasn't happened yet, though. There's never even with James running Rogue Trader, I've never gotten a comment that said James got this. Oh fuck! Why do I get this shit? Why do I get this shit and not James? Is it just because James is never wrong? Fuck.
That's because I'm a salesman. I even when I'm wrong, I say it with authority. No one questions it.
Exactly. People just go, "Oh, well, he sounds really sure of himself. He must be right."
This, James, this is why I want to run Imperium Maledictum as like petty rogue trader, low-level officers that are selling off the rogue trader's goods. Like, he stops on planet and is like, I've got 20,000 chaos bolters. Sell them to somebody. You're like, what am I? This is a sanctioned planet. What am I supposed to do with these? And then James shows up from around the corner. He's like, I've got an idea. We just have to sell it with confidence. This is the zany antics I'm looking forward to. But meanwhile, in reality, here in the year 489 of London, sorry, Cirencester.
Yes. So I just looked it up. Like in Gaelic, it would be Cirencester, or you drop the whole cester entirely like you did with Worcester and just be Siren. Be another way to pronounce it.
But we're not doing Gaelic. What's the English way?
Well, it doesn't. This land, that's not called that anymore in modern Britain. So,
all right.
So Cirencester would be the
Cirencester then.
Would be it's the modern, but the modern one they've added an H in. So
I'll buy the H. You know what? Right. Let's just get that H in there. Someone call Vanessa White. I need that fucking H. Here at this feast, you find the Duke of Lindsay and Duke Ulfius of Silchester. You also got your boy Brastius. You've got Prince Madoc. You've got the King. You've also got no Merlins necessary. None. You will find no Merlins here. Many of Uther's other very powerful vassals are present. What would each of you like to do? We've got gossip. We've got news from Brastius, Madoc, and Ulfius. We've got royal conversation. We've got intrigue. And you guys are really good at stirring shit up yourself. Who is not present? Sir Brastius, who hasn't been seen since that day.
You mean Sir Blaine's?
Yes, Sir Blades, who hasn't been seen since that day.
Mm-hmm. Sir Kendric is going to go talk to Prince Madoc.
Madoc is not at a high table doling out the news in the normal way. You find him in a game of dice with many of Uther's powerful vassals. As you're walking over, you hear him say, Pendragon? I hardly know her. And everyone at the table starts laughing as well. And he says, Kendric, it's good to see you again.
As it is with you, my prince.
He seems way less formal than you've ever seen. I mean, he's been pretty stiff every time you've ever talked to him. He seems quite jovial and indicates for you to sit at the lowest position at this table, but at the table.
Yeah, I will take a seat.
Do you dice?
I've been known to dice before.
Okay, I want you to roll gamble. You're gambling on rolling dice good by rolling good dice.
I'm really bad at this, so I lose some money probably. Just like the first time that I tried to do this.
It does not go well for you. That said, Madoc is telling tales with all of his personal vassals. And, he lets it slip that your 40 days of patrol, Kendric, your 40 days of patrol this year won't be in Salisbury. We are going to the lands of the Duke Gorlow. It's time to solve this problem. All vassals of the king must report for war this summer with half their knights.
Very well, my prince. That is finally bring this lackadaisical duke to task.
Some of his vassals seem sour at that thought. Like they have something to say, but recognize that this isn't the place to oppose Maddox, who is like, yep, that sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, Duke Wallo has missed muster the past several times, correct?
Are you telling me that, or are you telling them that?
I'm
Yes.
Yeah.
He has missed muster for reasons that have not been explained to anyone yet.
Sure.
It turns out he doesn't have a PR company working for him.
Yeah. Well, then we shall ride for Cornwall.
You end up losing a bunch of shillings.
Yeah. But, Maddox probably happy.
Maddox walks away wearing your by any means necessary puffer jacket. He played for pigs. Oh, and he looks so fucking drip with that shit on. He's got it. What's Last Generations? He's got it on fleek. I'm really trying to appeal to that Gen Z right now. I got a Gen Z opportunity out there, so
that's really gotta.
You gotta dabble up. It's fine.
Do they dab anymore? I feel like that's like an older thing now. I feel like if I dab, it would be like me being like for shizzle.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
You're like Steve Buscemi with the skateboard.
Yeah, hello, fellow kids.
Who wants to do something else at this crazy feast?
Herawd will talk with Duke Orpheus.
Oh boy, you're sure?
Oh yeah.
Okay. You make your way to the table of Duke Orpheus, Duke of Silchester, where you are received none too warmly by a man who is staring daggers at you, and he has you sit down across from him, and he says, Sir Herawd, is that right?
My lord?
I understand that in your need to recover your honor, you have deprived me of one of my chief servants. Is this correct?
Seems to me like he himself deprived you of his counsel with not being able to handle a loss. If you're looking for someone to offer counsel to you, I'm sure that within or without your realm, there are plenty of people who would be willing to step up.
Are you offering yourself for my counsel, Sir Herawd?
Should you wish it?
And what would a man who consorts with thieves and whores counsel me this year? What does Sir Herawd the Honorable have to say to me, the Duke of Silchester? Where would you see me guide my county?
I prefer Sir Herawd the Hospitable, but
I'm sure you would.
I would simply say that if you're planning something, perhaps writing it down and giving it to the peasants might not be the best plan. Now, what news of the king should I know?
I want to be clear. I've been silently staring and also looking around. He's not looking around. He's just silently staring at you like someone who is in a much higher social position, who's wondering where the fuck you got the balls to talk to him like this.
Well, in Herawd's mind, he won.
You did win. You beat Sir Blaine's, which is not the same thing as beating someone 3 social classes higher than that. Hurrah! Oh my God, Spoon and James really fucking trolling the shit out of chat right now. I'm gonna tangent again real quick. This is one of my favorite Horatio Hornblower stories, is The Even Chance. But it's then followed, the end of the story, Hornblower basically offers to duel someone at the very beginning of his career when he's like a midshipman. And everyone's like, no, you can't duel each other, you idiot. If you die, it'll be really bad. So, like, the first officer of the ship's like, all right, I'm going to load one pistol and not the other one. You two will put the pistols to each other's heads and pull the trigger. And then it's revealed later that neither pistol was loaded. They just wanted to prove that both of them would stand there, pull the trigger, and be like, ah, yes, your honor is settled. As a result of that duel, it comes out that the captain's the one who initiated that plan, and Hornblower's like, Captain, that was very dishonorable. I would like to challenge you to a duel. But as he's saying it, the captain's like, listen up, you little shit. Challenging your superior officer to a duel is punishable by death. You don't want to finish this sentence, you fucking idiot. And I feel like that is what's about to happen to Herawd. But you get the following news. Orpheus says, word is that Praetor Syagrius was defeated by King Claudius last summer, but he has escaped into the countryside and is roaming a free man without an army.
Sorry, he was defeated by whom?
Claudius.
Praetor Syagrius. That was the Roman general.
Yeah. Sorry, who defeated him?
He was defeated by the Frankish king Claudius.
After we pulled out. Okay.
Yep. You remember he said victory to the honorable and charged off into the French countryside. He promptly got wrecked. Imagine being born too late to be part of the true Roman Empire, but born too early to be part of the Holy Roman Empire. It's a rough life out there. It's got like 300 years to go. That, unless there's any more parting smart-ass shit you want to say to a duke.
No, that's was there anything other that I needed to know other than that he was defeated?
No, that's
we doing
it.
anything about this? No. Okay.
There's nothing to be done. No one's going back to the Frank land for a while.
Okay.
Let me be Frank.
Herawd will stand and bow probably more courteously than he needs to, and say my lord, and go on his way.
Gwgan, that brings us to you.
Yeah. Now, let me just quickly preface this by saying that when I ask questions as Gwgan, he's not interested in gossip. So I'm not interested in trying to find out what the down low word is. If I ask about something, Gwgan is openly asking people, is this publicly addressable information? So if you think that something would be something that is small talk, then it's not something that he's interested in pursuing. But what Gwgan is looking at doing is finding out what did happen to Syagrius. So obviously trying to get the same information that Herawd just got. And he's just curious as to, has this had any impact on the relationship between the king and the prince? I.e., that does the king support what the prince did by withdrawing after a single city, or has this created tension there? That's probably getting more towards the gossip side. So only if it's open disapproval would he really sort of, I guess, try and find that out.
Interesting. I think that...
I'm happy to roll intrigue if you think it's the right skill. I'm just no good at it.
I was going to say courtesy, actually.
Yeah, courtesy I can do.
To go around the court. I think courtesy indeed should be, especially because you are flatly at critical courtesy roll. Check mark that son of a gun.
I was already checked from being polite to the GM earlier.
Good enough. I'll tell you what. First off, So even though you're asking flat, no one has the answer. You will only get gossip in return. That said, a lot of the gossip says that Syagrius has basically retreated to the southern parts of the Isles. That he may be you hear word that he's in Hampshire, Sussex, Southports, Dorset. He's been seen all south of Salisbury and Silchester.
So he's back on the British Isles then.
He's back on the Isles,
on the continent. Okay.
Just in the spring, he came over as the winter ended. He managed to, get those magical time and tides, and he's basically using his position as like a former high-ranking general to couch surf at people's estates. Is what you're hearing. Like, none of those nobles are here, but people who are pen pals with those nobles are here and are like, oh yes, I heard that Syagrius was staying in Cairnsbrook for a week, and someone else is like, oh, no. My friend the Baron of Portchester said that he was staying there, and you just keep hearing Syagrius is everywhere in the south of the Isles, everywhere but Cornwall.
Okay. So, look, Gwgan feels guilty over leaving when we did. Obviously, it was his duty. He had no choice to do so and would not have run off it. But I think that if there's a way for Gwgan to sort of just make it known that should Zagreus ever darken his doorstep, that he would also be welcome in Shrewton, if he needed to. Yeah, it's more a case of he
Are you asking me to give you the Syagrius solo scenario, James? Is that what you're...
I didn't do it, so I don't even know there is one. But I'm just saying that
there are multiple Syagrius scenarios. So you know what? We'll roll at the end of the year. Remind me to have Syagrius visit, and we'll see the manner of his visitation.
Okay, all right.
Some of them are less pleasant than others.
Yeah.
I think that no gossip, just courtliness. You managed to get close enough to the high table that you see the prince away from his own dicing table with the king. They are both toasting each other's strategic and tactical brilliance, the kind of brilliance that would defeat the Roman Empire were it still a thing. Through their actions, they have somehow sidestepped the traditional sense of honor. So Uther, as we've seen in this episode, I haven't expressly said it, honor is not something that you think of yourself. Honor is the way other people see you. So Herawd may have believed that his actions were honorable when he took that book, but other people did not. Winning the duel has restored that honor in other people's eyes. That said, Uther certainly has his own opinion of his own actions, and he certainly believes that by not ordering the prince to do this, but by the prince taking an expedient path, because he didn't order the prince to do the things. He didn't say, Prince Maddock, go there and do this. He basically gave the prince the ability. The two of them have talked themselves into a position where they believe both of their honors are intact and that they got out at the perfect time. The rest of the court, whether they believe that or not, you haven't really gossiped, so you don't know if people are really buying it. But Uther is 100% toasting his son, and his son is toasting him back at what incredible super geniuses they are for this Chad move.
It seems more apparent they're interested in following honor to the letter rather than honor to the intent.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. They said they would go to Frankland. Frankly, they went to Frankland.
Okay.
Which brings us back around to the beginning. Kendric, I would offer you for a spot again on this carousel of doom. Is there anyone you'd like to upset?
Well, no. I would like to go speak with my fellow knight Herawd, and perhaps go talk to the two of us. Go talk to Earl Roderick.
Farewell,
Sir Herawd. I'm glad to see you back up on your feet. I'm again very, very sorry.
You have one hell of a sword arm, Kendric. That's why I picked you to be my champion. I just thought perhaps you'd be pointed in the other direction. But these things happen, and I'm
to
back
our
on
to
my
our
feet.
to our continued good health, and he'll raise a toast to you.
Gwgan protect us.
And may Andraste grant us victory.
Shall we go see our liege lord and see what he thinks of us sidelining the thorn in his side?
Sure. Let's see what. Let's go speak with Roderick.
You catch Roderick drinking with other accounts of his notable fame. So he's no duke, but he is accounted as one of the highest, most honorable, most glorious people in the land. And so there are some dukes who sit above him and many counts who sit below him. And he is telling a riveting rendition of the battle in which you all were the vanguard, talking about how, the incredible genius tactical assault that Maddox had assembled. Somehow Siagris's plan has now become Maddox's plan in the telling. He tells about, his personal knights, his chosen young knights were the tip of the spear. He himself laid down many Frankish peasants who were taking up arms against superior knights. His men ran down men-at-arms and defeated Frankish mercenaries. They managed to put to torch things that needed to be torched and kept the flames from consuming the town and with it the goods. He's just, again, I want to be clear that I'm basing this on Jack Aubrey from Master and Commander. So he's doing a great job telling the story, and he has used utensils and salt cellars to demonstrate. He's used a little bit of salt to create a wall, and is using forks to demonstrate movement through the city. People are riveted into their seats with excitement listening to this. Those who were not able to be there. He pulls himself away at the end of the story to speak with the two of you in a quiet corner across from a squire making out with a lady in waiting. They're too involved with each other to notice that their social superiors are about 7 feet away having a incredibly important political conversation. They're just having their Romeo and Juliet moment. We've
all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. Making out in front of our bosses.
Riveting story, my lord.
Riveting job executing the plan, said Kendric, Sir Herawd. I hear great things happening on the Pitton River.
Yes. There
Indeed.
was some happenings this spring.
It appears that a thorn in your side may have been removed for some time.
He slaps you in your left shoulder, Herawd, which is where he knows that you took a blade wound. You good?
Good.
If you need time to heal, I only need half of my knights to attend the upcoming muster. You can stay at home.
Right as rain, my lord.
Very well, I would have...
Just a bit of sparring between my fellow knights.
Is that the tale that we're telling now? A bit of sparring? They tell me Kendric the Hammerer went so insane he began hammering everything in sight. Some say he was driven mad with unfulfilled lust. Others say a lust for blood.
He just surprised me, my lord.
Very well. He gives you a look and a wink. I can't wink well, but just imagine, again, it's Jack Aubrey winking. Master and Commander.
Yeah.
The thing I haven't mastered is winking. I am, of course, a Master and Commander of the southern seas of this world, but... Then I would have the Order of the Axe go in my place for the muster. You and several other knights will attend with King Uther as he marches on Cornwall.
It will do you proud, my lord.
Who will be leading us?
This castle, Sir Amig is the
Sir
cast.
Amig? Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a castellan.
Yep. Sir Amig will lead the contingent.
Excellent. We served under him at Mirkrid.
He helped to train you.
Indeed.
Don't try to out-knowledge me about a guy I've known my entire life.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, hey, I remember things too.
You will serve under him once again in this upcoming battle. I hear that the two of you, your fortunes grow. Have you given any thought to sponsoring new knights?
Indeed,
Yes.
my lord. Is there... My squire will be coming of age in a couple of years, but
Your squire will be sponsored by his family.
But if you have someone in mind...
You have family members, brothers-in-law, cousins. It is normal. I suppose that if you still had fathers, they would encourage you to do this kind of thing. But I suppose I'll have to step in here. But if you aren't ready to sponsor some knights, he picks up 2 books off of... he pulls out 2 pamphlets from inside his robe. One says Book of the Manor, the other says Book of the Estates. He says, why don't you take a look at these this winter? Make sure Gwgan takes a look as well. You'll have to choose one of these. You can only use one at a time.
Yes, my lord. We will. We'll take a look over them and see which.
It's time to start making smart investments. You know they're calling you the Mad Bear.
Are they? Well, I don't hate it.
It's better than the Mad Saxon. Well, be off with you.
Of course, my lord. Enjoy the rest of your feast.
So he goes over and he puts a hand on the handmaiden and on the squire, and he says, time and place. Time and place. And then he leaves.
And they go bright red.
No, they don't stop. They do that thing with teenagers kissing where they're just sucking each other's faces. Gwgan, what do you got going on? Anything else? Another round here? Pass?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that he... I mean, obviously, having seen that his brothers were talking with their lord, I think he'll approach them.
You want to come over and get filled in? Sure.
Yeah. I saw the two of you speaking with the Earl. Is everything all right?
Yes, we were just speaking with him about the duel and some other things. We'll be riding to Cornwall this summer under Sir Amig. Do you know
that will actually...
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it will actually come to battle. I mean, there's no problem with Saxons without fighting fellow Britons.
Yeah, and I think here, so like, because when Sir Kendric was talking with Maddock, he was like, yeah, of course, the prince, of course we're gonna go fight Cornwall. I think here he's just kind of like, well, I certainly hope not. I would not want to. I mean, I'll fight whoever I'm directed to, but raising a blade against fellow Knights of Logres is, even if they haven't made muster in the past 2 years, still doesn't sticks in the throat.
Because, so just correct me if I'm wrong, Arthur, Cornwall still basically is loyal to Uther. They're not like the Northern Kings that are separate kingdoms and haven't recognised Uther as the High King. He still pays fealty to Uther?
So Uther has not been recognized as the High King yet. He's been recognized as King of Logres But to become High King, he needs to secure the 29 legates of the Collegium, and he has failed to do so. I think now would be the time to make an intrigue roll before I say anything else about that.
But Golar is not he's not a king. He's a duke, isn't he? So
he is a king of a small province in France, but he is a duke, which means that he is on the table for the Collegium.
Okay.
He's not, so he could not say I'm the High King, but he can say Uther is not the High King.
Yeah. But
the
fact that Uther expects him at muster means that the expectation right now is that he swears fealty to Uther.
Yes, that is the expectation.
As just his king, not as the High King. Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Make an intrigue roll.
Okay. And fail. No.
It's not updating for some reason. Here we go. Yeah.
Can I make an intrigue roll?
Yes.
I can't do it either.
Fail.
Yeah, my
Bumble wants.
The high
Kendric's
politics. None of you pay attention to this level of high politicking. You've heard of the College of Legates, but it's not something that's on your mind. You know,
Well,
it's like a normal average person knowing something about Congress.
like you said, Kendric, I will take no joy in fighting fellow knights, but I will do as told by the Earl, by the King.
He also gave us these scrolls to have our priests read to us.
Right? What is it? So,
It's the Book of the Man.
oh, yeah,
the
no,
Book
yeah,
of the
yeah,
Estate.
okay. Yes, I can read. That's right.
You can choose only one.
Yes. Hopefully, the Earl could at least assign us a mana sheet in Roll20 so we could see what integrates best with the mechanics we use.
The Earl will do so immediately. Do you need a character sheet set to Manor? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You can't change it. He's just creating your character sheet and set it to mana, and I'll check to see. I think it's made around Book of the. It's made around the newer one, I think.
Okay, Manor, land record. James absolutely fucking trolling me. Here we go. It says Manor improvements. Manor. Okay, you should have access, James.
I'll have a look at it outside of the game.
Yeah. We don't need to do it right now.
Yeah, I'll do my homework. It's all right.
You know, I'm normally the one that says that to other people, James.
You're
literally the only person who could say that shit to me. You son of a bitch. Oh. Keep going on your discussion, minus the memeing.
All right, so I guess when the feast is over, we return to our homes to gather our knights for the muster.
Very well.
That was your character, but
I do also have a mechanical question. So are our original family knights that we rolled, they're all knighted and like serving?
Knights are knighted. Men at arms are not knighted.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You could also sponsor your squires.
Mm-hmm.
If a squire's family doesn't have enough money to sponsor them, they're in a lot of trouble. You know.
Yeah.
And it's actually fairly common for people to squire and then simply remain a squire for the rest of their lives until moving on to a profession.
As esquires.
Is Rond old enough to sponsor? I can't remember how old he is.
Is who?
Rond the Hammerer, the Black Hammerer.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
But he is not trained as a knight, I believe. You could certainly, there's nothing stopping you from making him a knight, just to be clear. I just want to make sure you understand that, you know, he's trained as a person who brutally beats people to death.
Oh, okay. I thought that he was
He's the
training,
fourth
but
son.
I thought that he was too young.
It's been several years. He's the fourth son. So
Right.
he's not a knight. He's he is a murderous psychopath.
Okay.
Which, I mean, depending on how far in history you are, he could still be a knight. Nothing is stopping him. He just won't, he won't know how to put the armor on correctly. He won't have table manners. He won't know people. But he has brothers for that. If you really want to make him a knight, that would be an incredible gift.
I don't have anyone else in my family tree to sponsor, so.
This is a time period just after when Roman emperors would choose worthy heirs rather than those of their blood.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those guys are all dead, and the Roman Empire is burning in flames. Now only the Eastern Roman Empire is left. Sorry, it's still called the Eastern Administrative District or some bullshit. The Western Roman Empire is basically just a bunch of Saxons and Franks battling it out. So, I don't know if I want to get started with the next part or if we should just end early.
Well, I think
we got an hour.
We can all go late. So
I don't know if I can go late though.
Okay.
I will start the next part though.
I will remind you that I'm not around next week if that changes anyone's mind.
It doesn't though.
Okay.
This show regularly doesn't meet, so that changes nothing for me. It's been like 3 weeks since the last episode, right? It's been a while.
Thanks to my travel.
You're certainly not the only one who's had to miss an episode. You can't take all the credit, James. We find ourselves outside of Somerset. King Cadwy meets with Uther, but the Somerset king nor his troops join the marching army. We find all of you, however, as part of Uther's army. You are marching upon Duke Gorlow and his men. You find that his army, the army of Cornwall, waits in the trees up a hill across a stream. Everyone in the local area, all of your troops, are basically completely demoralized. The idea of attacking across the stream, up a hill, into a prepared position with archers, insane. Even if Uther forces this, even if they win, has Pyrrhus lost already? Do they say Pyrrhic victory at this point? It will be a Pyrrhic victory.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like 410 or something, I think.
It's not that long ago then. Yeah. Everyone's saying the hip new term of Pyrrhic victory.
Oh, no, sorry, no, it was like 280, so it's like a couple of years ago. It took a couple of years ago.
They're saying the fashionable old-timey term, Pyrrhic victory. How are all of you feeling? So it's you, and I'm curious, did you bring your like, I want to say banner knights, but I don't think any of you have banner knights. You have family members. Did you bring your family members on march with you? Did you bring your men at arms with you? How strapped are you for this fight?
I think Kendric has brought the second son of his uncle, and then so he's got his two cousins with him, and then probably some men at arms. I have to double check and see that I have men at arms. Yeah.
So it was Gwgan's intent to, if Sir Blaine's hasn't returned by the time we're done in Cornwall, he wanted to send two of his family knights to look for Sir Blaine's because he feels guilty he feels the responsibility because he ratted Herawd out to Sir Blaine's in the first place, but he'd still bring them, like he wouldn't want to send them off before a muster. So they've been brought here on muster now.
Mm-hmm. For no reason at all, I'd like you to roll a d20 real quick.
For no reason, it's 11.
Okay. I mean, the reason it's an 11 is statistical chance, but all right.
0.5 above average.
If Kendric is mustering his family, then Herawd will muster the 6 young knights that he has.
So you guys
I
are.
want to be clear, AP, that Gwgan is praying like fuck that cooler heads prevail because he really doesn't want to fight. Like everything aside, the strategic tactical disadvantage they're at. The worst thing for him is the idea of fighting other Britons.
Knights fighting knights is quite bad, but Britons fighting Britons is also a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. So he's spent a lot of time in prayer that cooler heads will prevail.
You pray to God. I feel that you are not the only person doing so. And I think your piety is noticed around the camps. Who is the most honorable among you? Is it Kendric?
I have a 16, yeah.
I have 16.
Sorry, I said honorable, but what I meant was glory.
Glorious.
Yes.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah. You all don't really have a banner knight or a banneret to lead you. So, Kendric, you are essentially de facto in charge for your group of about 20 knights. Just to be clear, this is not a position of honor, like someone's like, banneret Kendric. It's more like, look at, that disorganized rabble over there. Kendric, you're in charge.
Yeah.
Just because you don't fit anywhere within the regular order of battle of the other trained Salisbury Knights. Amig comes over and basically wants to talk to the three of you since you are the most honorable, highest glory knights. It's not that your young knights are bad or any of your cousins are bad, but they're not landowners. They're at a very different level of social graces than Amig is used to talking to. So he tries to gather the three of you around and sit you around a camp stew pot and have everybody sitting on half-sawed logs. Going for a real American Revolutionary feel here.
Sure.
I'm just absolutely destroying any sense of authenticness this episode. He looks at you with a calm gaze and he says, well, I think it's likely we'll be charging any moment now. You all prepared to do this?
We are prepared to do as ordered, my lord.
You have any friends in Cornwall?
Not that I can remember at the moment.
My friends are all here.
I don't know whether it's a good or a bad answer. Herawd, do you have something to say?
Never been that far west.
Well, gentlemen, before riding into a fight against knights uphill in a forest across a stream, some men may falter, some men may lose heart. They may get in their own heads and defeat themselves before we charge. So I want to leave you with this thought. He puts a hand on Kendric's shoulder and he puts a hand on Gwgan's shoulder and he says, on the local map of Britain, there are 2 different river avens. Who made this map? And he stands up and walks away.
What a strangely inspiring thing to say.
I think there are actually 4 river avens in Britain now. And by the way, Avon means river. Absolutely insane. England is a silly place. I say that as a country that has I think 23 different states that have a city called Santa Claus in it, though. So what do I know? He leaves the three of you perhaps dumbfounded, perhaps profoundly moved with his words. Something to think about before going into battle. Why reminisce on the fact you're about to fight knights when you can think about the fact that there are two different river Avons in this time period? How did that happen?
Can I tell a quick side story?
Yes. Is it about river Avons? Because this is one of my favorite British stories.
It's about
the
maps.
robots. Okay, go ahead.
About map. When I was like in my 20s, we went to a costume party where the theme was Dungeons and Dragons, and one of my friends went along as a wizard. And for a spellbook, I don't know what you call it. The British would call it a road atlas. We call it a street directory. You had the books you used to carry in your car that had all the maps before we had, GPS. That was your spell. That was your spellbook analog. And the joke became anyone could say like a street name, and he would look up that street name and read out all the different suburbs that had that street. That was him casting a spell. Until we discovered Station Street had like 2 pages of suburbs that have a Station Street in them.
A 9th level spell.
Yeah. Anywhere with a train station seems to have a Station Street.
Incredible. Americans, if you don't have a AAA subscription, know that you can get those books for free or at very discounted rates. They're good to use just in case you don't have cell service. I got them stacked underneath my passenger side seat.
I remember the triptych days.
Oh, yes. Before, what were they called? Garmins?
In the dark time, before the Garmin.
Oh my God. All right, calm down, Obi-Wan. Anything else you'd like to do before this battle kicks off?
I think he would gather the three, or the two of you, and say, "Well, whatever happens here today, I'm proud to serve alongside both of you, and hopefully, I'll see you on the other side."
I think we should pass on Sir Amig's strong words, maybe not the river part, to our own household knights as well, to steel themselves for the battle to come.
Oh, incredible.
I would like to orate to my
perfect. Please do.
Actually, do I? Okay, well, here we go.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
No, okay.
You demoralize your troops. You tell the river story, it's nowhere near as good. You confuse your troops, and they are more nervous going into battle. You can see them up atop their horses moving skittishly, more skittish even than the horses. They're just confused. They're just like, what do the rivers have to do? Is it because we're about to cross a river? Avon means river. They're just getting riverception inside their head.
Probably give them some, like, if you in the battle, if you lose hope, just think of the river. Like, what does it even mean?
Somewhere out there's a man in a very similar time period trying to teach a group of dumbass militiamen who's like, you must be swift as a coursing river. And these knights are just like, what does the river mean, man? What does the river mean? King Uther rides forward to parley. Merlin walks beside him. Somehow Merlin's walking is as fast as Uther's riding. And annoyingly, he leaves behind a trail of rose petals. The king yells, "One land, one king!" Duke Gorlow has ridden forward as well, lowering his hood. He is perhaps once a handsome man, now quite weathered and aged. He has like a honorable, august feeling about him. He raises a fist and says, "Justice!" We have 7 minutes before ad time, I believe, Glimo. Uther says, "Show him the sword." Uther draws Excalibur, and it gleams brightly even in the morning light, seeming to absorb the sun rays, blasting out almost Lord of the Rings style, a sort of revealing beam. As it casts itself upon the forest, the hidden troops of Gorlo are revealed, and they immediately skitter back like cockroaches into the darkness to save themselves. Gorlo looks worriedly at his nobles around him. Their horses show similar agitation as Gwgan's knights. They, too, are confused, not about the River Avon, but about the magic powers of the sword. Merlin stands forward and says, "Behold, the sword of victory, forged when the world was young." Duke Gorlo holds a hurried parley with his men and steps back towards Uther and shouts, "And if I surrender, what do I get?" The king says, "You get?" But he is interrupted by Merlin, who holds a hurried chat with Uther. You notice that Uther is placated by Merlin, and some deal is struck between the two of them. The king says, "All of the lands from here to the sea, to hold in the name of the king." The Duke unsheathes his own sword, his horse rearing back, and he says, "I accept!" A huge cheer goes up from both armies. Do you guys also get in on this cheer?
Yep.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone can say afterwards they were pleased with the nobility shown by both lords. At the camp afterwards, everyone remarks about it was good that this is done for Logris. Gorlo and Uther camp together and spend the night drinking and talking. And late at night, the Duke goes away. All of you will, at the end of the year, get 10 glory just for being here. So you may want to remark upon your character sheets that you were there when Gorlo was tamed by Uther.
I'm not going to say it, but I definitely know this is because I prayed so hard.
That's the least humble thing I've ever heard you say. Oh, at dawn, it is discovered that the Cornish army is gone. Uther looks smug as hell, and he marches his army north to Lindsey to threaten Octon and Eosa. It should be noted that the path from here to Lindsey is a long ass path. It's basically half of the British Isles. So I know this game is like, you march, and I'm like, for what, like weeks? Several weeks later, you arrive in the middle of the country, but the northern end of Logris, in Lindsey. He personally leads his army into Rostock and sends his knights and soldiers to hunt down any Saxon that they find. But neither Uther nor Octa and Eosa want to have a pitched battle, so the fight is restrained to skirmishes. Let me ask, because I think this is a good place to end the episode, are you all interested in joining any small battle skirmishes, scouting the road, watching the army, or would you rather end out this year?
I think that my character would like to. I think each of our hatred for Saxons would indicate that we'd probably be keen to do this.
Yeah. I mean, usually Kendric is always up for a good scrap.
Glimo?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm writing down scrapping with Saxons. Let's do those outros then.
Okay.
I want to make sure Glimo gets his outro in, since he's the only one that asks for outros anymore.
I got nothing.
He's got nothing? You can't? Okay, well, I'll have to do an outro then. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. We're not here next week, right?
We're not here next week.
We will be back in 2 weeks. Do we want to, if we're not outroing, do we want to summarize this episode and talk about it? Or do you want me to just cut the camera?
No, okay. I'm good to, I'm good to chat.
Speak!
So yeah, this episode, man, the first half was not as expected, but that's how Pendragon goes, right? Is a failed passion roll, a fumbled passion roll, and shit goes sideways in in ways that you don't expect.
I thought I was so good when I critted that first dex roll.
Yeah. Yep.
Nope.
Yeah. It was wild. It's wild. But I'm glad that we remembered that you were my second and that you would be wearing your armor so that I didn't absolutely murder you.
James, thoughts?
I mean, like, yeah, I was along for the ride for that first half. I didn't want to get involved because it seemed to be a great pivot point between those characters. Because obviously it was Kendric's duel. So it was Herawd's duel, but it was Kendric's involvement. So I think that was a 2-character scene, but certainly a lot of fun to watch. And then obviously knowing what happens here, not just from the campaign but from the movie as well. It's a very famous scene in the movie. The not battle. But I still think that from a story point of view, the tension in it was great.
Yeah, but I say this as a person who really likes King Arthur stories. I hate the movie because it really makes Gorlo come off as a huge asshole to justify that Uther is also a huge asshole, but also like a complete unrepentant criminal. I feel like Excalibur really tries to make Uther seem like he's the good guy, maybe, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
When he's the bad guy. Uther is the villain of this part of the story.
Yeah, for sure. And like this is the first, like, I feel like this year and this event specifically is the first time where a lot of people go, oh, actually maybe Uther's not a good king. Like we're gonna go beat up a bunch of other British knights because
they're busy fighting the Irish.
Yeah, because they're busy at home when we're fighting people in our who are in our homes.
When do we show up to fight the Irish? Never? Huh, that's weird.
So
I was part of the Arthuriana of Ticking Time Bob Gaming. And that was really cool for me to play Gorlo. Still got my blood packs on my desk right here. If you don't know why I have blood packs on my desk, you really should watch the episodes that I'm a part of.
Yes.
To get that full Gorlo arc. You could just, if you don't have enough Pendragon in your life, you could just watch the show in general. You could just watch all those episodes. I think it's got is it 3 ongoing shows? It's definitely Gathering of Branches. And
yeah, so he's got the Sword of Victory nights, and then the Gathering of Branches nights, and then he does Open Pendragon, which is
that you were just on this week,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, I was.
What an amazing tee-up.
There are a ton of good Pendragon campaigns on YouTube that start and never finish.
Yeah, that's true.
At least 2 of them are me.
But yeah,
hey, Greg Stafford stopped by my campaign and said he thought it looked good. All right, you can't get that kind of service anymore because he's dead. But it happened to me. That wasn't even a very good campaign either.
Yeah. Yeah, so Taking Time Bob does Open Pendragon stuff, and he did one last night, and I played Sir Godric, a barrack Saxon they are loyal Saxons to Saxons loyal to the Pendragons. So it was a lot of fun.
I think we should keep the Saxons in Saxony.
I do have some friends that had a 10-year campaign of King Arthur Pendragon. Well, they used the system, but it was set in Low Kingdom Egypt. So it was an Egyptian campaign, but using the concept of like the 1 session to 1 year with the sort of the legacy mechanics.
Interesting.
Yeah.
After 10 years of weeklies, they may have finally gotten to Cleopatra at the end of that dynasty.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, were they like landholders or like, how did
they were playing like movers and shakers. They weren't pharaohs certainly, but they were playing key. Yeah.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You can do some really amazing stuff if you mix Pendragon with that stuff. Imagine mixing Pendragon with Battletech. If only there was a show like that you could check out on Arthur's channel.
Yeah. That
there might even be some like cheeky crossovers with this campaign.
Mm-hmm. And other Battletech campaigns even. I've heard there was a there might even be one coming up.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is a
Like
new
the
episode of
Anratosaurus.
it's a new episode of Oath of Endosteel dropping tomorrow, and we're recording a new episode tomorrow, so we could get real crazy.
Nice.
But if you were expecting 2 fancy edited intro sequences, you better prepare yourself for the new episode, because it's not going to have any fancy edited intro sequences.
You know it does have some fancy editing.
Jesus, go. All right, go ahead.
I was gonna say the Blood Bowl has some nice. You got a game that dropped tonight and a game that drops tomorrow.
So that's the
news.
thing. I only could watch the first half of Lawson's game, and then he spoiled it for me in the middle of this show. He spoiled it for me, and I was just like, "Well, fuck." I actually sat down and watched Lawson's game, and now he spoiled it for me. Unbelievable.
So there's a game in there today. There's a game in there for Sunday already queued up. I'm playing a game after this show, so that'll be queued up for Monday. And then I've even been able to get Pondo to bring his game forward since GFA's been suspended for a week, so we can then have a game up for Tuesday as well. So there's Blood Bowl every day from now until Tuesday.
Is the next match Lord Hunger?
Yes,
I want to see him battle.
Right on.
I want to see his vampire ass shit.
Yeah.
It sounds like next week you and I will have another match, James. That's what I'm hearing.
I can tell you that because obviously it's hard to do any sort of Swiss draw until
everyone's locked in.
Yeah, but I think the one match that that will have to take place that could not be changed based upon the rankings will be Hammerers versus Drakes.
Oh yeah, bring it, baby.
We're doing a remix. Okay. Oh, you know my feelings. Drakes are gonna fucking annihilate the Hammerers.
Nah, man, I'm gonna put more of those elves in the ground.
Yeah. Okay. I remember when you were like, "Yeah, the Drakes are gonna win this week," and I was like, "Nah, they're gonna annihilate," and then they annihilate. So I had a whole room full of people saying the Drakes were going to lose. That's it for us, friends. We'll be back, not next week, gotcha. We'll be back in 2 weeks, at which point we will be talking about skirmishes versus Saxons. But we could also be talking about Christmases, and we will have a determination by our highly talented CFO looking at the technology, looking at what we have available here, making a decision on whether we're going to make estates or whether we're going to make manors. If you like spreadsheets, we're about to add a second spreadsheet to our spreadsheeting to complicate the end of year. We want to make things
I heard
harder.
you like
for us.
spreadsheets.
We do. We want to put pivot tables in our spreadsheets. All right.
So at a quick glance at it, it looks like it's the older rules. It's the old
Is that Book of
the
Manor? Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the one I have. That is what we shall use. Book of the Manor. Manure. In the future, will you get Book of Feasts? Book of the Armies? Maybe. It could happen. I said
Book
that
of
I would
Battle.
reveal rules periodically as we became more capable. It seems like this year we really banged out end of year stuff, so it's Manor time. Stop. Manor time.